Just like what happened to the others who were appointed, that is still what is going to happen to those that have not been appointed. It is this, that either there is evidence to remove them from the bench or they are appointed to their position. As matters stand, they deserve the appointment to those positions. If there's evidence against them, they must be tried through the legal process, and they should have been tried a long time ago. And by the way, what has taken the executive all this time to make this appointment now and not then, if they had any evidence that those that have been appointed had no problem and those that have not been appointed had a problem? So you can see there's malice in it. Malice in this sense, the statement that is being sent by the executive in uncertain terms is that the judges that ruled against BBI have been disappointed. It means that if you do not then if you do not work in a way that favors me, I don't work in a way that favors you.
But Wakili, you see, the president, it seems that he had a choice to, out of the 40, place 34 and reject 6. Does the constitution allow the president to choose the judges he wants and those he doesn't?
Let's put it this way. I don't think the president has rejected the 6. He has not appointed the 6. Now, he has merely not pronounced them by way of gazettement. That is what he's supposed to do. Now, when a cluster of judges is appointed by the Judicial Service Commission in the manner that it did, be it 30, be it 42, be it 60, there is no law that says the president must appoint them through gazettement at the same time. He actually can appoint them in phases of 5 or 10 or whatever number that he chooses to appoint them. He can appoint them on a Friday and the next Friday appoint others. He must appoint all of them, but he cannot, and he has no discretion not to appoint them. He cannot therefore disappoint them. The point is, he can appoint them in phases if he so likes. He can in fact appoint them one by one every day if he so wishes, but he has no discretion not to appoint them. So the point is this, that those that have not been appointed must be appointed by the president.
Okay, out of the 6 judges, Wakili, there were legal minds that were saying that if you saw the 6 judges, some of them were in the Constitutional Court that declared the BBI unconstitutional. Could that have informed the president's decision?
If the president and the tools that are available for him to vet people knows some information about certain individuals so that then they are not suitable to hold those offices, the mechanisms to remove judges from offices are available. Tribunals can be set to remove those judges now or any other day, even a day after they have occupied that office. They can still be removed through that process, so that if then the appointments have legitimately been made by the Judicial Service Commission, the administrative action by the president, because of his office, not because he is the person doing it, he must do it. The other way to look at it is this, that when the administrative action is unexplained as it is now, then the conjecture in law will be the social conjecture, which is this, that because the president has a tiff and a friction with the judiciary on account of the BBI that was stopped by the judges that were, or some of them, were meant to be promoted to be Court of Appeal judges. They have not been appointed, or they have been disappointed on account of the fact that they participated in a decision that is unpopular with the executive or the president in person. For instance, the pronouncement by the judges in that bench was that the president has breached Article 6 of the Constitution, and that the president can be sued in person while in office for purposes of the transaction involving BBI, and because of that, the president riled the judges in person and in public, especially at the last Madaraka Day. And he has then had a component of grievances citing the nullification of his election until the day that BBI also was declared as unconstitutional. Those are grievances in person of the president and not the presidency. But again, the friction between the presidency and the judiciary is not something new that we are seeing today, or not something unique to this country. The judiciary plays oversight over the executive, and therefore the friction cannot completely be untold. It is expected that there should be continued constant friction between the executive and the judiciary, more so in a situation where there is no visible, active, and say an opposition that is active in the country.
Okay, Wakili, staying with that particular friction, you're speaking about the executive and the judiciary. Just the other day, Chief Justice Martha Koome took the office and the frictions have already started. You just said that Madaraka Day, the president took head on the judiciary as well as this particular, and she is the chair of the Judicial Service Commission. What is she supposed to be doing during this, her first month in office? Is she supposed to solve this particular tiff, or because Kenyans on Twitter, both on and offline, are saying that the Chief Justice is too quiet, she's not reacting?
I think she'll be trampled on by executive unless she stands up. She'll be a lame duck unless she stands up. This is the time we hoped that she was going to pronounce herself in a so uncertain time. Herself, it's because of Maraga protecting the independence of the judiciary that she was independent. She can't therefore allow the judiciary to be stepped on and trampled on. She must stand up and pronounce herself as such. There are times when she will stand with the executive because it is right to do so. There are times when she shouldn't stand with the executive because it is right to do so. She should do the right thing. Otherwise, we will know what to tell her. That she'll be a lame duck if she continues to be silent over such aggressions on judiciary. Let
me take you, Wakili, back to those particular 6 judges. They're already sitting judges. Don't you think there's an ethical dilemma where those particular judges, if they continue with their rulings and somebody maybe rushes to court and say, hey, look, this is the judge that was called by and fit by the president himself to hold this particular office, do you think it trains what these judges are doing in their particular courts?
The president is not about his passion, it's not about what he wants, it's not about his wanton. It is how the law pronounces itself and establishes itself. We know that the president has mandate in law to respect the constitution. He must respect the constitution, and therefore his indifference or his disappointment of the judges does not mean that the judge is unsuitable. It is a personal decision.
Okay, Wakili, in the Judicial Service Commission itself, do remember that the AG Paul Kihara Kariuki is a member of that particular GSC commission itself, and he is a president representative. Don't you think the AG could have at least noticed that particular matter before it even reached to the president itself?
It is the other way. The Attorney General, by the way, and that's the mistake he makes, the Attorney General is not the lawyer for the president. He is the lawyer for Kenyans. He's a state officer and a lawyer for Kenyans. He's serving Kenyans and he doesn't serve the president. The problem I have with Kihara is that he serves the president as if the president is his client. The president is not a client to the Attorney General. It's Kenyans who are clients to the Attorney General. He must discharge his responsibilities to Kenyans and not the president in person. Secondly, is that what is surprising here is that there are nominees and appointments, the Judicial Service Kenya, Judicial Service of Kenya, and Judicial Service Commission, who are appointed directly by the executive. The others come from institutions such as Law Society of Kenya and the judiciary. But when the president is disappointed by the appointment that are made, what baffles is the president has representatives there himself. The president communicates those representatives in the event he has any information, for instance, if he has some intelligence information about some judges. Now, the incompetence I see here is this, and this is the incompetence that throughout we see in practice. Intelligence is not evidence. Believe you me, if you know you have intelligence about the doings of a certain person that are corrupt or criminal, it doesn't mean that person, even if you take that intelligence to court, you're going to get convicted. You must convert intelligence into evidence.
What legal recourse do these 6 judges require? What will happen? What next for these particular 6 judges?
So there's hope. That hope is what then cements and crystallizes the legitimacy. Once the person gets into leadership, he gives instructions and orders. The police will obey it, the military will obey it, all the civil servants will respect the president. Sometimes they'll fear, even if the orders and instructions are given are illegal, they will implement it because the president is in power. That is legitimacy. But once the person gets to the tail end of his leadership, the person fears on certain things. One is reality, is that the person walks away from that leadership and power. But number 2 is the subject know that the person is walking out from that leadership. The power then wanes slowly. As the time ticks, that power goes. And once it gets to the tail end of that leadership, he does not give orders that get respected anymore. He is president as a symbol, and that is a transition moment. Towards the end of the presidency leadership, it is deemed to be transition moment, and therefore he loses legitimacy. It is the area that I feel President Uhuru Kenyatta is nearing or getting into. It is that area that the judges won't fear him anymore. It is that area that Kenyans won't fear him anymore. They will tell him on his face that he is naked if he is naked, and in fact they'll continue to criticize and accuse him. We're going to see more and more, by and by, a president that is impatient with Kenyans, more angry and more unsettled.